Welcome to another lesson of comparing numbers, Turtle Girl. Do you remember our previous lesson on comparing numbers?
Of course, teacher. I remember using building blocks to compare numbers. We use words like bigger and smaller when we compare numbers.
Why don't I test you, Turtle Girl? Look at these two numbers, 7 and 2. Which number is bigger? Which number is smaller?
7 is bigger than 2, and 2 is smaller than 7.
Good, Turtle Girl. Looks like we can move on to our lesson for today. Since we've learned numbers up to 20, that means we can now learn to compare numbers up to 20 as well. Look at the flowers of vase A and vase B. Vase A has 16 roses and vase B has 14 roses. When we compare the number of roses, we can see that there are more roses in vase A than in vase B.
So, A has more roses than B, and B has less roses than A.
That's true. So we can tell from here that 16 is bigger than 14, and 14 is smaller than 16. Let's take a look at basket C and basket D. Tell me, Turtle Girl, how many balls are there in basket C?
There are 11 balls.
How many balls are there in basket D?
There are 19 balls.
Can you compare between basket C and D?
C has less balls than D, and D has more balls than C.
That is true. So can you tell me which has a bigger number, 11 or 19?
19 is the bigger number.
Well done. Turtle Girl, do you know that we can also compare more than two numbers?
Really? What do you mean, teacher?
When we compare more than two numbers, we use words such as biggest or smallest. For example, when we look at the numbers 1, 4, and 7, we know that 4 is bigger than 1, and 7 is bigger than both 1 and 4. Therefore, 1 is the smallest number, and 7 is the biggest number.
Can we compare three numbers for numbers from 11 to 20 as well?
Of course, Turtle Girl. Let's look at these three sets of pencils. There are 12 pencils in A, 11 pencils in B, and 19 in C. Now, can you tell me which are the biggest and smallest numbers?
Let me see. I know that 12 is bigger than 11, but smaller than 19. So, the biggest number is 19, and the smallest number is 11.
Splendid! Sometimes we can also use the word greatest when we talk about the biggest number.
I see. So we can also say the greatest number is 19.
Yes, Turtle Girl. What are you doing, Turtle Girl? Why are there all these sweets all over the place?
I'm glad you're here, teacher. I'm trying to find out how many more sweets are there on the blue plate than on the red one. I just can't seem to get the answer.
Well, Turtle Girl, it's quite simple really. There are 17 sweets on the blue plate and only 15 sweets on the red plate. Which plate has more sweets, Turtle Girl?
The blue one, of course.
So there are more sweets on the blue plate than on the red plate. All we need to do is to match all the sweets on the red plate with the sweets on the blue plate. Can you do that now?
Yes, teacher. One red, one blue, one red, one blue, one red, one blue.
Since there are fewer sweets on the red plate, so all the sweets on it is matched with the ones on the blue plate, leaving only 2 sweets on the blue plate. So, there are 2 more sweets on the blue plate than on the red plate. In other words, there are 2 fewer sweets on the red plate than on the blue plate.
Oh yes, I remember doing something like this before. Let me give it a try.
Okay, try this. There are 11 green ribbons and 19 yellow ribbons. How many more yellow ribbons than green ribbons are there?
Since there are less green ribbons, so I can match all the green ribbons to the yellow ones. there are 8 yellow ribbons left over. There are 8 more yellow ribbons than green ribbons.
You are right. We can also say that there are 8 fewer green ribbons than yellow ribbons.
This is fun.
You can also use counting on or counting back methods to find out how much more or less is one number than the other. Look at this question. 19 is more than 16. If we count back from 19 to 16, we've counted back 3 numbers. Thus, 19 is 3 more than 16.
Hey, that is easy. Can I try one?
Yes, try this. 13 is fewer than 18.
I have to count on to find the answer. From 13, I have to count on 5 numbers to get 18. So, 13 is 5 fewer than 18.
Excellent, Turbo Girl. Can you tell me what you've learned today, Turbo Girl?
I have learned how to compare numbers from 11 to 20 today. When I compare 2 numbers, I am able to see which number is bigger or smaller. When I compare 3 numbers, I can also see the greatest or the smallest number among the 3 numbers. There are 2 ways to find out how much more or less a number is compared to another number. I can either do matching or use the counting on or counting back methods.
Good. You remember all that you've been taught today. Till next time, Turbo Girl. Goodbye.
Goodbye, teacher.